The Platonic solids, like I said before, have a discrete symmetry. You can only line up the blocks and all of those things. You can't put all of them together.
Whether you believe him or not, Terrence Howard's 45-year quest to decode hidden frequencies raises questions that scientists can't easily dismiss. Terrence Howard has long been known not just for his acting career, but for his unconventional theories about mathematics, physics, and the hidden structures of reality.
So I put together a 3-page resume of all the projects that I wanted to do.
Recently, he revealed that he has spent 45 years working to decode what he believes are hidden frequencies that govern everything, from sound and geometry to the way matter organizes itself. His statements have sparked intense debate, fascination, and confusion, leaving many wondering whether he's exploring a groundbreaking idea or venturing far outside accepted science. Follow along, because the deeper we go into Howard's decades-long obsession with frequencies, the more the story shifts from a celebrity interview into a strange mix of science, symbolism, and a personal quest he claims could redefine reality itself. The man behind the mystery. Terrence Howard is a name most people recognize from the big screen. He earned an Academy Award nomination for his role in Hustle and Flow and became the original War Machine in the first Iron Man movie. But behind the Hollywood fame lies someone who considers himself more than just an entertainer. Howard describes himself as a seeker of truth, spending what he claims are 17-hour days working on theories that challenge everything we learned in school. His journey into the world of frequencies reportedly began during his time studying chemical engineering at the Pratt Institute in New York. According to interviews, Howard became fascinated with patterns he observed in nature that didn't seem to match up with conventional mathematics. This fascination turned into a lifelong obsession that has now captured the attention of millions online. What makes Howard's story compelling is the genuine passion he brings to these ideas. Whether you agree with his theories or not, there's no denying that he believes deeply in what he's discovered. He speaks about frequencies with the same intensity that most actors reserve for discussing their craft, suggesting that this pursuit represents something far more personal and significant to him than any role he's ever played. The ancient symbol that started it all. At the center of Howard's exploration lies an ancient geometric pattern called the flower of life. This symbol, which resembles overlapping circles arranged in a flower-like pattern, has appeared in ancient structures around the world. You can find it carved into the walls of the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, etched into forbidden temples in China, and referenced in manuscripts throughout history. The flower of life dates back thousands of years and represents one of the oldest symbols known to human civilization. Ancient philosophers like Pythagoras studied geometric patterns extensively, believing they held the keys to understanding the cosmos. The symbol consists of multiple evenly spaced, overlapping circles that create a mesmerizing pattern, which some believe contains the fundamental shapes found throughout nature. Howard suggests that this ancient symbol isn't just beautiful artwork, but actually represents wave patterns and frequencies that govern how the universe operates. He claims to have opened up the flower of life in a new way, discovering what he calls wave conjugations that were previously hidden. According to Howard, great minds like Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton also sought to understand this symbol's secrets, believing that whoever controlled its knowledge could understand the fundamental structure of reality itself, challenging the mathematics we know. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Howard's theories involves his challenge to basic mathematics. In a 2015 Rolling Stone interview, Howard stated his belief that 1 times 1 should equal 2, not 1. He argues that multiplication, by definition, means to increase in number or quantity. Therefore, if something is being multiplied, it should grow larger, not stay the same. Howard developed his own system called teriology to express these ideas. He even created a unique language that he writes both forward and backward with both hands, using symbols he invented to keep his concepts secret until they could be patented. In 2017, he shared what he called mathematical proof on social media, though the scientific and mathematical communities have largely dismissed these claims. The actor gave a presentation at Oxford University where he expanded on these mathematical concepts. He discussed what he calls loops in mathematics and questioned fundamental principles that have been accepted for centuries. While mainstream mathematicians and physicists have been quick to point out the flaws in his reasoning, Howard maintains that conventional thinking has led us astray and that nature itself doesn't follow the mathematics humans have created. The DNA connection. Now, one of the more intriguing aspects of Howard's theories involves the connection between frequencies and DNA structure. He explains that DNA is composed of 5 primary elements: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen. Howard suggests that each of these elements vibrates at specific frequencies, with hydrogen producing a sound similar to the musical note E. According to his explanation, the arrangement of these elements in the double helix structure of DNA responds to different frequencies. He proposes that the right frequencies can tighten the DNA structure, potentially bringing the body into a healthier state. Conversely, wrong frequencies might lead to what he describes as malformations or health issues. This concept builds on the idea that our bodies understand energy information through frequency rather than through electrical signals alone. Howard claims that when music plays at a particular resonant frequency that matches your DNA's natural vibration, your DNA essentially celebrates and functions more optimally. While this idea lacks mainstream scientific support, it does echo certain principles explored in the field of sound therapy and vibrational medicine. The Great Musical Shift. Howard draws attention to a significant change in the music industry that occurred in the 20th century. Before the 1940s, musical instruments were tuned to various standards, but many musicians used what's known as A equals 432 Hz. This frequency, sometimes called Verdi's A, was believed by some to be more harmonically aligned with natural vibrations. In 1939, an international conference in London recommended A equals 440 Hz as the standard tuning pitch. And by 1955, the International Organization for Standardization made it official. This meant that orchestras, instrument manufacturers, and broadcasters around the world would all use the same reference point for tuning. The change brought consistency to the music industry and made manufacturing instruments easier. However, some believe this shift had deeper implications. Howard and others question whether this was simply about standardization or if there's more to the story. Some theories suggest that 432 Hz produces a warmer, more calming sound that resonates better with the human body and the natural world. There are claims that listening to music tuned to 432 Hz can reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and promote overall well-being, though scientific studies on these effects remain limited and inconclusive. The conspiracy question. When discussing frequency changes, certain conspiracy theories inevitably surface. Some online sources claim that Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels ordered the change to 440 Hz in 1939 to create discord and agitation among populations. These theories suggest the shift was designed to make people feel more anxious and aggressive, supposedly serving wartime interests. However, historical records tell a different story. The proposal for A equals 440 Hz actually predates the Nazi regime, with the frequency being suggested in Stuttgart, Germany, in 1834. The international standardization came from practical needs in the growing global music industry rather than any sinister plot. While Howard mentions these theories in his discussions, it's important to separate historical fact from internet speculation. What remains true is that different frequencies do affect people in different ways. Though these effects are often subtle and highly personal, some musicians genuinely prefer the sound of 432 Hz and report that it feels more natural to them. Others find no significant difference between the two standards. The scientific community generally agrees that while frequencies can influence mood and perception, the claims of dramatic physical and spiritual effects lack robust evidence. Natural curves versus straight lines. Howard challenges another fundamental concept in his presentations: the existence of straight lines in nature. He argues that all motion and energy in the universe is expressed through curves, not straight lines. This observation questions the foundation of Euclidean geometry, which has been the basis for much of our mathematical and scientific understanding. When examining natural systems, it is clear that many forms and processes follow curved or cyclical patterns. Water tends to move in arcs and spirals when unrestricted, whether in rivers, ocean currents, or small-scale fluid motion. These patterns arise from physical forces such as pressure, friction, and gravity, and they appear consistently across different environments. In astronomy, planets move in elliptical orbits because of gravitational interactions and the distribution of mass within their systems. Light can bend around massive objects due to gravitational lensing, a well-documented phenomenon predicted by general relativity and confirmed through astronomical observations. Waves, whether mechanical, electromagnetic, or quantum, also follow predictable patterns that involve curves and oscillations. Biology provides further examples of curved structures in nature. The spiral arrangement seen in galaxies, seashells, plants, and weather formations shows repeating patterns linked to growth dynamics, rotational forces, and energy distribution. DNA is another example, forming a stable double helix that results from chemical bonding and spatial organization at the molecular level. These observations support the idea that curved structures and patterns are common features of natural processes governed by physical laws. Howard suggests that by focusing on straight lines and traditional geometric shapes, scientists have been looking at the universe through the wrong lens. He proposes that understanding these natural curves and the frequencies they generate might unlock new insights into physics, energy, and the fundamental forces that govern reality. While mainstream physics does account for curved space-time and wave motion, Howard believes there are deeper patterns still waiting to be discovered. The Tesla connection. Howard often refers to the work of Nikola Tesla, an inventor and electrical engineer known for major contributions to electricity, magnetism, and early wireless technology. Tesla's interest in frequency and vibration has influenced many researchers and theorists who examine how energy behaves in natural systems. His statement about understanding the universe through energy, frequency, and vibration is frequently cited in discussions about alternative scientific concepts. Tesla conducted experiments involving resonant frequencies to study how objects respond when exposed to vibrations that match their natural frequency. These experiments showed that resonance can significantly change the behavior of materials and structures. Reports from that period describe strong vibrations produced in his laboratory that affected nearby areas, illustrating the physical impact of resonance under certain conditions. In addition to resonance, Tesla explored the possibility of transmitting energy wirelessly. His work in this field examined how different frequencies could carry signals or power across distances. While the full potential of these ideas was never fully realized during his lifetime, they helped establish foundational concepts in radio communication and electromagnetic research. Howard views Tesla's interests as closely aligned with his own. He often mentions Tesla's focus on frequency-based phenomena as an important reference point. Howard also refers to claims that some of Tesla's ideas were overlooked or not fully explored, and he uses this as an example of how unconventional research can receive limited attention. Although Howard's conclusions differ from established scientific views, the broader idea that frequencies have a significant role in physics remains widely accepted. Researchers continue to study resonance, electromagnetic waves, and energy transfer across various fields. These areas form an active part of modern scientific investigation and contribute to ongoing discussions about how energy behaves in the natural world. Sound as medicine. Beyond theoretical physics, Howard discusses how frequency might be used in practical healing applications. He often refers to sound as a tool that can influence the body, and this aligns with some existing practices in medical and therapeutic settings. Sound-based treatments have been present in healthcare for many years, and they form the foundation for several accepted technologies used today. Medical facilities use ultrasound technology for imaging and for various therapeutic purposes. Ultrasound can help visualize internal organs, track fetal development, and guide certain procedures. In addition, high-intensity focused ultrasound has been used to treat specific types of tumors, without the need for surgical incisions, showing that sound can have real and measurable effects on biological tissues when applied in controlled conditions. Studies have found that certain sound frequencies and rhythmic patterns can affect physiological responses. These effects include changes in heart rate, blood pressure, and levels of stress hormones. Music therapy is used as a complementary treatment for patients dealing with anxiety, chronic pain, and other conditions. Some research also indicates that particular sound environments may help people relax and improve their ability to sleep. Howard expands these established ideas by proposing broader uses of frequency-based intervention. He suggests that sound could be applied with greater precision to help the body return to a balanced or normal state. He promotes the idea that frequency could address health concerns at a fundamental level, offering an approach that relies on non-invasive methods rather than medications or surgical procedures. While the medical field recognizes the legitimate therapeutic benefits of sound in certain contexts, it does not support claims that frequency alone can cure serious illnesses. Current evidence shows positive effects in areas related to stress reduction, pain management, and relaxation, but does not extend to the kinds of outcomes Howard describes. Further research would be required before such claims could be considered scientifically supported or clinically applicable. The suppression of ideas. Throughout history, new ideas have often been met with resistance from established scientific and academic groups. Howard points to this pattern when discussing the challenges he faces in gaining recognition for his theories. He refers to past inventors and researchers whose work conflicted with accepted views and who encountered significant obstacles when presenting their findings. One example he cites is Royal Raymond Rife, an inventor who claimed to have created a frequency-based device that could target harmful microorganisms. Rife believed that specific resonant frequencies could disrupt these organisms, but his work did not gain acceptance in mainstream medical practice. His devices were criticized for lacking verifiable evidence, and his research did not meet the standards required for medical validation. Howard also mentions Tesla's later work, which received limited support during Tesla's lifetime. Some of Tesla's ideas involving wireless energy transmission and unconventional approaches to physics were not adopted by the scientific community. At the time, interest in these concepts increased only decades later, when technological advancements made it possible to re-examine them with new tools and understanding. Howard uses these examples to discuss how new scientific ideas move through society. He suggests that institutions sometimes reject unconventional research because it challenges established frameworks or requires major shifts in understanding. This leads him to question how many potential discoveries are overlooked because they fall outside traditional expectations. Critics of Howard's theories maintain that his ideas lack peer-reviewed research and have not been tested through controlled scientific methods. Supporters respond by noting that many significant discoveries faced early resistance before being recognized. These discussions highlight ongoing debates about how scientific progress is evaluated, how evidence is assessed, and how new theories gain acceptance within established systems. The academic response. When Howard appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast to discuss his theories, the response was explosive. Millions watched as he explained his ideas about mathematics, geometry, and frequencies. In a follow-up episode, mathematician and physicist Eric Weinstein joined the conversation to provide an academic perspective on Howard's claims. Weinstein, who has his own unconventional ideas about physics, approached the discussion with both respect and critical analysis. He acknowledged that Howard was asking interesting questions about the foundations of mathematics and physics, even if the specific answers Howard proposed didn't hold up to rigorous scrutiny. The conversation highlighted the difference between philosophical inquiry and scientific proof. The scientific community's response to Howard has been largely dismissive, with many experts pointing out fundamental errors in his mathematical reasoning. The claim that 1 times 1 equals 2 contradicts the definition of multiplication as repeated addition and breaks down when applied to any real-world scenario. However, some appreciate Howard's willingness to question assumptions and think creatively about long-standing problems in physics, even if his specific solutions don't work mathematically. The cultural impact. Regardless of whether Howard's theories are scientifically valid, they have sparked widespread interest in frequencies, sacred geometry, and alternative ways of understanding reality. His presentations have been viewed millions of times online, and countless discussions have emerged exploring these concepts. Books like Frequency Wave Theory have been written to expand on similar ideas. This cultural phenomenon reflects a broader desire to find deeper meaning and connection in our understanding of the universe. People are drawn to ideas that suggest reality is more mysterious and interconnected than our everyday experience indicates. The notion that ancient civilizations possessed knowledge we've lost resonates with those who feel that modern society has become disconnected from fundamental truths. Howard's influence extends beyond just his theories. He represents a celebrity using his platform to discuss complex scientific and philosophical ideas, bringing these conversations to audiences who might never otherwise engage with such topics. Whether you view him as a visionary or someone who's ventured outside his area of expertise, there's no denying that he's got people thinking, questioning, and exploring ideas about the nature of reality. Terrence Howard's long exploration of hidden frequencies reflects his curiosity and his interest in ideas that fall outside standard scientific discussions. He connects symbols, musical tuning, mathematics, and the possible influence of sound on biological systems, presenting theories that many experts question. Although mainstream science disputes several of his claims, the topics he raises about frequencies, natural patterns, and how reality is organized continue to draw attention. Frequencies do play an important role in the universe, from basic physics to large-scale cosmic behavior. Whether Howard has discovered anything new or followed ideas that lead in a different direction is still unclear. What is clear is that his work has encouraged many people to examine these subjects and reconsider how they understand the world. What do you think? Is Terrence Howard onto something revolutionary, or has his search led him astray? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.